Okay, all right.
There he
Oh,
is.
oh.
Jeez. Yeah.
I was about to George Bush Senior this thing.
Absolutely.
I know. Well, because I didn't think I was gonna make it. My water heater broke.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right, motion call to order the meeting. Let's see. Lafayette Historic Preservation Commission meeting, May 18th, 2026. Sorry, I turn my ring. First on the agenda is approval of minutes. So I have a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion.
All right, Alex, second.
Yep. I'll second.
Okay.
Yep.
Next in new business, did the Public Relations and Education Committee meet? Yeah. I'm sorry, all those in favor of the minutes? say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Sean. All right, on to new business. Public Relations and Education Committee, they did not meet, correct?
Correct.
The District Committee?
We-
Okay. COA Committee did meet. I met with staff, petitioner. Do you want to-
Yeah, so I'll walk us through this application, kind of the history of it, and not all 51 pages, but just to give you an idea. So there's a petition to install metal doors on the west facade and the north basement doors of 301 Columbia, the Stollard and Shoe building. There's a restaurant going in, and on the west facade, there's on the interior, there's an installation of a lift to get up to the main restaurant or down to the basement, I also believe, where the restrooms will be, and then the two basement doors on the front of the building that face Columbia Street. They're asking for those to be metal doors. This was an interesting C of A, and I apologize for scrolling fast. There was a C of A approved by the same architect firm back in 2022, different building owner at the time, but essentially same application and same architect. In that approved C of A, wood doors were approved at the time, along with some other work back then, that building was gonna be converted into apartments and not a restaurant, so there were some windows that were gonna be changed, the fire escape was going to be changed, there was a number of other things on the exterior. All of those things were approved, but this application is essentially just for the doors. It does mention about the windows, but they basically just transferred language from the old approved C of A to the new one, with the exception of the doors. I also would like to, on this next screen, so this is an email, or the cover sheet for an email, which is a signature page amending the 2022 C of A for that address, for the owner of the new building. And what that is saying is that when I spoke to Craig, and at the time the contractor Brian, there was an acknowledgement of the previously accepted C of A, and by exchanging the signing, updating the owner sheet, they were taking what I inferred as responsibility for the approved work that had already been approved in 2022, which included wood doors. So to that end, this application is for the metal doors, those locations. I am going to scroll a little bit faster because there's some examples at the tail end of this application. I apologize. It was 51 pages this month. But I just want to make sure that you guys have that information. Sorry. Get to, oh, here we go. So there on your screen, you have the door, 3/4 light, aluminum door that's there that they already have in their possession. The next picture, I believe, is the side light that accompanies it. You can see the framing, so the top, it's turned, so the top will be where the door is installed, and the bottom part will be the side light. And then there's a handful of examples of the basement doors, the location of the basement doors. So they're asking for those to be metal as well, that one, and this one. And then there are some examples of other metal and the west facade, that is where a door will go. They opted not to leave the plywood. There are some examples of metal doors throughout downtown, I think specifically the courthouse square, but around downtown. Move through these a little slower. If you want to take a look and if you have questions or thoughts, the C of A committee did recommend approval at the time. We're going to recommend approval to the council, so you could probably start your conversation there.
Dan, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, again, the couple doors that are on the lower level, one's wood, one's aluminum storefront. Neither of them are original. The wood door is more in keeping with the period, and that's why we kind of said, well, the new doors need to be the wide style, painted. We didn't discuss at the meeting the door hardware, the pole. I think that's something that should be addressed as far as something other than bronze or something than chrome, or it should have a little bit of character there and a different material than just a. That was one thing that wasn't discussed. I mentioned to Barry after the meeting, but so I don't know if they had a chance to do anything, but I would say that would be a chance to make it more in keeping with the building, to address that pull. Different, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, and
what they're
that's,
showing on the drawing is just your standard C. And again, I've seen those, and they come in brass or antique bronze and that kind of thing. Something like that would be more appropriate than a clear anodized aluminum one. I don't know what they're proposing.
So, yeah, this COA is much the same as it was in 22, with the exception of what you pointed out. The downstairs doors, we felt okay. Obviously, that's going to be the aluminum. The side we were okay with. It's an example we've seen around. So the COA committee did recommend approval. And I think that Barry and you talked about coming up with some kind of different door handles, which could probably be handled just through, the office administratively, I would think. That's my.
Yeah, I think that today's COA is based on what we approved on, what we suggested approval on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, at first, I think this building was a different use than what is being done now. And so with added traffic going into that side door, which was the one in question, I think this is a good material. It's going to last for a long time. They upgraded and did powder coated, almost like a sandstone color to kind of blend in with the building itself. We've approved these types of doors before for other ones, and about every door on that square is aluminum metal door.
Anything else from the commission?
Well, I just would like to say one thing. So that they've kind of botched up doors in the past shouldn't be like a standard for the future. But we understand that this was through the architect and all the different ownership. So, yeah, I can understand, but I don't think that just because, I just looked at a door that I'm very closely associated with in my new office, and it doesn't look appropriate at all, but it's not in a historic district. The Journal and Courier building. So, that's my only comment.
Brian, want to add anything at all?
If you're gonna approve it, I'm gonna keep
Okay,
my mouth shut.
yeah. Just would like to give you the opportunity to add or say anything.
I was not privy to the conversation after the last meeting that Dan apparently had with Barry, but honestly, I thought you guys should bring up the door handle at the meeting. You didn't,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't get up in my mouth. I think it's ugly.
Yeah.
So yes.
Well,
I
there's
would
so many
love to
different
change.
styles. Right there on the screen is not probably something to be jazzed about, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But there's so many different varieties. I think you guys can come up with some good proposals
I
that
would rather
you could look at
something
with
more
Michael and
ornate,
Dennis or whoever.
classy, and- Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
All right, well, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Approve, all right. Do I have a second? Stephanie, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right, motion carries. Cool.
Awesome.
So just
Thank you.
work with the office when you guys get to some of those details or questions that come up along the way.
So now that's passed, like, as of tomorrow, we could stick that door in, right?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of just Michael talking to the engineering office or whatever, right? No?
Because there's no
Okay.
permit required for it.
COA has to be issued.
Yeah. But it's
administratively.
approved tonight, so the work can start tomorrow.
Perfect, 'cause it's scheduled for tomorrow. Thank you.
When does the restaurant open?
Yeah, tell us
Whatever,
more.
Alec.
Sorry.
We were supposed to open last December, and let's just say we had the wrong person running this, and so, we're looking for August 1st at this point.
Great.
So we think we can do that.
Exciting. I walked by today, the door was open, I peeked in, looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations.
Get a chance, I just finished some marble work in there, relocating a gilded cage and marble work, and if you can tell it got moved, good for you. It looks original to me, so
Cool.
it'll be fun. It'll be
Great, we're excited. Thanks for doing
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Before you leave, will you sign my button sheet?
I don't think there was anything else on the agenda.
Staff report.
We'll never have another 51-page.
Sorry, I've been through the COA process.
I
before.
like
came
more
prepared
information.
with
I know.
photos and-
I know. Appreciate
Staff
that.
report quickly. I sent you all an email regarding the digital camp that happens in June. I would really love to see us do 100% participation, even if it's half of us doing one day and half of us doing the other. I will say in the year that I've been here, and there's a sheet that we submit to SHPO every year where they ask how many, not really continuing ed, but I'll just say continuing ed trainings that we have for the board that is offered. I would say over the course of these last two, participation has been extremely low. I think some of you are going to send me trainings that you attended beforehand, and I haven't got those to update that sheet. It's already been submitted, so if they say something about it, I'd like to have that information to update. But either way, I would say participation is far less than 30% over the last 2 years. It is an expectation of this commission to be part of those things when they're offered. And I will say this too, I'm guessing the reason there's a digital camp is because it is hard for a lot of commission members to go in person. So I think SHPO is responding to that by having the digital camp. So, I'd like to see us get well over 50% participation. There will be in-person camp again towards the end of September like it was last year. End of September, 1st of October. It's in Franklin this year. So the session before will be camp. I think it's a whole day session. So potentially if you can't attend the June sessions, maybe we can organize, or even both, to get down and do a couple of the sessions in September, early October. Secondly, Dennis wanted me to invite all of you to the art installation dedication on June 9th. I think there's a reception starting at 7 at the Art Museum across the street, and then we'll dedicate the sculpture, I think, around 8 o'clock. So wanted to make sure that you were all aware of that. I will send an email out probably by the end of this week to everyone who couldn't be here as well.
So 8 p.m.?
Just, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's,
I might
it's
be
in-
over with the lobster bake by then. So.
well, fair enough. It's,
it's good weather.
it's lit internally, so a nighttime dedication, I think I think everyone thinks will be best. So you get to
it's
see
Art
that.
Museum? At the Art Museum?
But the bicentennial
Okay, so where's the,
is at the corner of
9th and State.
south.
South
Reception
is what I
starts
meant.
off at the art museum, a
Street.
block up the
Okay.
street.
They
Yeah,
have it
just
up
right, yeah.
now. They're
Yeah,
just
I know, it's
laying-
just-
Yeah, yeah. I love it.
It's, all-
I
Orange.
signed up for the June 23rd.
I was wondering what was going on, because I thought maybe some of the words weren't right or something.
No, we're just doing the landscaping. And then some of the dedication or,
I've also been working, I guess this is the last update. I've also been working with the Han Museum. They've agreed later in the summer, I think maybe if we don't have a meeting in July, it looks like we will have one in June. St. James, I think, is going to come in with an application. We're a couple weeks away from that deadline because we met a little earlier this month for some awnings. So it looks like we'll be meeting in June. July is always kind of a coin flip. So July or August, if we don't have a meeting, we'll use the meeting time to meet at the Han for a private tour of the museum, the carriage house that they're looking for grant funding and private funding to update. And then you'll get kind of an overview of what they're trying to accomplish on their campus as a whole, which includes a couple other houses, one right in front of the Han and then one that's 2 doors down. Also, there will be a session on art restoration, which obviously is not what we do in this commission, but I thought it would be interesting to learn about how our painting restoration happens, and then even creating, the word is escaping me. Duplicates is the word that I'm thinking of, but not, thank you. I wasn't going to get there. So I just thought it would be kind of a nice evening for us to do that again. That's another one of those sort of training, education opportunities. And then I'll look to work with Landmarks for another session in the fall. So last year, Landmarks went on a tour, a handful of places around Indiana doing historic, like, wood window reconstruction. They were hosting classes, they were hosting workshops for that specifically. I don't know what they're doing this year, or if they're doing that one again, but we'll look to have one in the city in the fall. And that one will also be open to the public, so it won't just be the commission.
When would that be again?
In the Han, whenever we don't have our next meeting. So it seems like we will be meeting in June, so it'll be July or August. So
The camp thing is free.
camp is free, and it's an afternoon.
I'm registered on that, yeah.
It's 2 days, I feel like it's like 11 to 4.
But you only need to do
It's 1 to 4. 4 sessions, 2 each day. One's an HPC overview. I think day 1 is HPC overview and then legal. And then the other 2 sessions the next afternoon. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. What did you ask me?
Do we have to do all the sessions?
No, I mean, I think if you can commit for 1 afternoon of the 2 and we can get participation that way, then I think that's great. So
Very good, thank you.
that's all I got.
All right, is there any public comment?
You're our public today.
We have to ask, yeah, right, making sure.
All right.
All right, well, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
All right, thank you, Alan.
Second.